The meeting will now come to order. We are now holding a meeting of the Princeville FFA chapter. Mr. Vice President, all our officers at their stations.
I shall call the roll of officers, determine at their stations, and report back to Mr. President. The Sentinel.
Stationed by the door.
Your duties there?
Through this door pass many friends of the FFA. It is my duty to see that the door is open to our friends at all times and that they are welcome. I care for the meeting room and paraphernalia. I strive to keep the room comfortable and assist the President in maintaining order.
The reporter.
The reporter is stationed by the flag.
Why by the flag?
As the flag covers the United States of America, so I strive to inform the people in order that every man, woman, and child may know that the FFA is a national organization that reaches from the state of Alaska to the Virgin Islands and from the state of Maine to Hawaii.
The treasurer.
Stationed by the Emma Washington.
Your duties there?
I keep regular receipts and disbursements, just as Washington keeps farm account. Carefully and accurately, I increase thrift among the members and strive about our financial standing through saving and investments. George Washington was better able to serve his country because he is financially independent.
The secretary.
Stationed by the ear of corn.
Your duties there?
I keep an accurate record of all meetings and correspond with other secretaries wherever corn is grown and FFA members meet.
The advisor.
Hereby the owl.
Why by the owl?
The owl is a time-honored emblem of knowledge and wisdom. Being older than the rest of you, I am asked to advise you from time to time as the need arises. I hope that my advice will always be based on true knowledge and ripened with wisdom. Mr. Vice President, why do you keep a plow at your station?
The plow is a symbol of labor and tillage of the soil. Without labor, neither knowledge nor wisdom could accomplish much. My duties require me to assist at all times directing the work of our organization. I preside over meetings in the absence of our president, who is placed beneath the rising sun.
Why is the President so stationed?
The rising sun is the token of a new era in agriculture. If we will follow the leadership of our president, we shall be led out of the darkness of selfishness and the glorious sunlight of brotherhood and cooperation. Mr. President, all officers are at their stations.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. The secretary and I call the roll members.
There are 14 members and guests present, Mr. President.
Thank you. FFA members, why are we here?
Practice
brotherhood, honor agriculture opportunities and responsibilities, and develop those qualities of leadership which an FFA membership possess. May we accomplish our purposes? I now declare this meeting of the Princeville FFA chapter duly with the transaction of business or attention to any matters which may not properly be presented.
Mr. President,
The chair recognizes Cleve.
I move that Princeville FFA sponsor an agri-science fair for our section members this fall.
Second.
Is it probably moved and seconded that the Princeville FFA sponsor an agri-science fair for our section members this fall? Is there any further discussion?
Mr. President,
Cleve, being to make the motion in your first right to discussion.
fellow formers, we need this. I personally know that I would really enjoy this, and I know many of our other members would enjoy this too. So I urge you to vote yes on this motion.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion?
Mr.
The
President.
chair recognizes Riley.
Thank you. Fellow form members, I urge you all to vote no on this. I think this is a terrible idea because when I went to district record books, there was an agri-science fair there also, and there were not very many people there. We only brought 3 people, and they all advanced to state. That shows that there's not a lot of people, and it's not worth our time if a lot of people aren't going to come. So I urge you all to vote no.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. President.
The chair recognizes Jackson.
Fellow farm members, I think it's a great idea that we should sponsor this because it can help introduce more people from the Princeville FFA to agro-science because there's not very many people there. And I think when I went, I had a fun time when I did the agro-science fair. So I think this is a great idea.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. President.
The chair recognizes Coley.
Fellow formers, I urge you to vote yes on this motion. I think it's a great idea because I have once been to an agri-science fair and I learned so much info. My future job, I'd like to be a farmer, and I would just love to learn more about plants, grain, and all the crops that could affect my personal life.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. President.
The chair recognizes Bella.
Fellow floor members, I urge you to vote yes. I think this is a great idea because we have plenty of interest in this and people could show off their hard work. And lastly, we would have plenty of room to host this. That's why I urge you to vote yes.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. President.
The chair recognizes Blake.
Fellow floor members, I urge you to vote no on this main motion. I think this is a terrible idea because it'll take lots of planning, and as my fellow floor member said, there's not going to be many people that will end up showing up, so I think it's a waste of our time and energy. So I urge you all to vote no.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Discussion?
Mr. President,
The chair recognizes Bella.
I move to amend this motion by striking out fall and inserting summer.
Second.
Is it probably moved and seconded to amend this motion by striking out fall and inserting summer? If passed, the main motion now read, I move that the Princeville FFA sponsor an agri-science fair for our section members this summer. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. President,
Bella, being to make the motion in first right to discussion.
I think this amendment is a good idea because the fall is a very busy time with sports and activities, and so if we move it to the summer, we would have much more time to plan this, and also more people would be able to come to it.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion?
Mr.
President.
State inquiry.
What's the required vote on this motion?
On amending this motion, it is a majority vote.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on this amendment?
Mr.
Mr.
President,
President,
The chair recognizes Jackson.
Fellow board members, I think it's a terrible idea to move this to summer because summer is coming up too soon, and it would be hard to get people there if we wanted to move it to summer because most people are out of school. It'd be hard for our advisor to contact us and try to participate at this fair, so I think this is a terrible idea.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. President.
The chair recognizes Cooley.
Fellow full members, I urge vote yes on postponing this definitely. I think it's a great idea because crops can be brought in because they're just growing and they're not fully grown yet, but they're in the middle. And we have plenty of room in the summer because the collaboration area will be empty and all students will be out of school.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. President.
The chair recognizes Riley.
Fellow board members, I urge you all to vote no on this. As I've been saying this whole time, I think it's a terrible idea from the get-go, and our advisor is very busy in the summer. He shows pigs with his kids, and there's no reason to take him away from that, and I also show, so there'd be no time. So I urge you all to vote no.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. President.
The chair recognizes Cleve.
Fellow woman, like my other members have already stated, we are really busy in the summer. I personally am on multiple vacations and will be busy showing and doing other stuff too.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. President.
The chair recognizes Blake.
Fellow floor members, I urge you to vote no on this amendment. I think this is a terrible idea. Like I already said, there's going to be lots of planning that goes into this and advertising to get different schools to come. So I think that moving this to the summer is just way too close, especially with all of us wrapping up our sports and everything. It's just too much to do right now. So I urge you all to vote no.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion?
Question of privilege.
State your question.
May I use the restroom?
No, you may not. We are discussing important business at this time. Is there any further discussion on this amendment? Discussion? Discussion? Seeing there's no further discussion, we'll take a vote on this amendment. If passed, the main motion now read, I move the Princeville FFA sponsor an agri-science fair for our section members this summer. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those approval, say no.
No.
Motion fails. We're now back in discussion of the main motion. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. President.
The chair recognizes Blake.
I move to postpone this definitely to the next meeting.
Second.
It's probably to second we postpone this motion indefinitely. This motion is debatable and is also amendable. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. President.
Blake, being the making the motion can first right to discussion.
Fellow floor members, as I've said again and again, this is going to take a lot of planning, so if we postpone this to our next meeting, it'll give us a little more time to think about this and what would go into the agri-science fair, so I urge you all to postpone this definitely.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. President.
The chair recognizes Jackson.
Fellow board members, I think it's a great idea to postpone this indefinitely. Fall is pretty far away, and if we move this to a different meeting, I feel like we'll have more time to think about it, more time to discuss about it before the meeting, so I think it's a great idea to postpone this indefinitely.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. President.
The chair recognizes Riley.
Fellow board members, I urge you all to vote no. As I've said time and time again, I think this is a terrible idea, and just pushing it off makes it even worse. We push off so much stuff, and then it adds up, and then we don't have time. So I urge you all to vote no.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. President.
The chair recognizes Coley.
Fellow full members, I urge you to vote yes on postponing this definitely to the next meeting. I think it's a great idea because right now we are busy with the plant sale and it'd be great just to get this over with. By next meeting, the plant sale should be over and we can discuss whether we want to take a donation from it or if we want it to be a cost just to get into it.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. President.
The chair recognizes Bella.
Fellow floor members, I urge you to vote yes on this postponement. I think this is a good idea because then we can look more into it and decide by our next meeting if we think this would be a good idea to have. It would just give us some more time to think about it.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion?
Mr.
The
President.
chair recognizes Cleve.
Fellow woman, I already voted yes on postponing this to our next chapter meeting. Postponing this will give us time to think about it, and we're really busy as my other members have already stated. So I already vote yes on postponing this definitely.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? 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 Seeing there's no further discussion, I'll take a vote on postponing this to our next chapter meeting. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those approval, say no.
No.
Seeing as there's a tie, I will sit down and take my vote. This motion fails. We're now back in discussion of the main motion. Is there any further discussion? 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 Seeing there's no further discussion, I'll take a vote on this main motion. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those approval, say no.
No.
Motion passes. The Princeville FFA will sponsor an agri-science fair for our section members this fall. Madam Secretary, do you have record of any further business which now be transacted?
I have none, Mr. President.
Does anyone ever know of any new or unfinished business that's now probably come before this meeting? We're about to adjourn this meeting in the Princeville FFA chapter. As minutes all are supposed to be diligent in our labor, just in our dealings, courteous to everyone, and above all, honest and fair in the game of life. Fellow members and guests, join me in a salute to our flag.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I now declare this meeting adjourned. Members, please rise for oral questioning.
start with you, Mr. President. If a motion is postponed to the next chapter meeting, when in the order of business would that motion be brought back for consideration?
It should be right after the minutes, so it'll be the second order of business during the meeting.
Okay, thank you. We're going to move over to Madam Sentinel. If the motion to amend is applied to an amendment on a recess, what is this amendment called?
Can you repeat the question?
Absolutely. If the motion to amend is applied to an amendment on a recess, what is this amendment called?
An amendment to like how long the recess is?
Okay. And can that amendment be discussed?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Treasurer, as treasurer, what are 2 duties of your office outlined in the official FFA manual?
Keep a record of receipts. Encourage growth among the members, and keep a record of like what we paid or what we gave.
Okay, thank you. Madam Reporter, if an organization holds regular meetings on a monthly basis, for how long could a motion be postponed if the motion postponed definitely is adopted?
To the next meeting.
Okay. We're going to come over to Madam Secretary. If you are the chair and a member rises to a parliamentary inquiry and asks to adjust the volume of the microphone, how would you proceed?
I turn it up since it's
Okay. Mr. Advisor, in addition to the 6 officers included in opening ceremonies, what are 2 additional officers a chapter could elect according to the official FFA manual?
The historian, and that's all I got.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Vice President, you have 2 parts. What is the purpose of the motion question of privilege?
Sorry, say that one more time, please.
Yep. What is the purpose of the motion question of privilege?
To ask if you can use the restroom or ask if you may go somewhere.
Okay. Is a vote required to adopt a question of privilege?
No.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gents, that is it. You can leave